Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name's Emily Nicole if you guys are new here. I typically make lifestyle related content here on YouTube, but today's video is going to be a little bit different because I'm going to be talking about the psychology of attachment. Basically all of my videos, whether my video is on creating new habits, on how to wake up earlier, or establishing good routines. I really just want to make all of my videos be able to somehow provide some sort of value for you guys to live more mindfully, but also to have a more balanced life, both mentally, spiritually, and physically. Today's video is definitely gonna hit on the second, which is related to mental health, and it's just for awareness. I've personally had some experience with people in my personal life who have had a dismissive avoidant attachment style. It's something that I had never heard of prior to last year of 2019. Didn't really know what it was, why some people would form attachments like this. It's something that I've learned both in real life, I have real experience from it, but also I've done a lot of different research, which I have here today from different websites talking about the attachment theory and some of the signs and symptoms to look out for people who do have a dismissive avoidant attachment style. I don't want to make this video too long, so I am just gonna get right into it. I'm gonna start out by talking about what attachment theory is, where it originated from, and then I'll go into some of these signs of someone who has a dismissive avoidant attachment style. And there are more than just one attachment style. There's actually 4, which I'll get into in a little bit. But I will get started by the background of what attachment theory is. So, attachment theory was basically formulated from a man named John Bowlby. I don't know, Bowlby, I'm not for sure if I'm saying his name right, but he was actually a psychiatrist in a child's guidance clinic in London, and he treated emotionally disturbed children in this clinic, and a lot of his work really led him to be curious and fascinated around how does the bond or the attachment from a child and its caregiver, specifically its mother, affect that child both emotionally, socially, and cognitively. So he did a lot of research in that, and it actually led him to formulate his entire attachment theory around this idea. But while he was doing that, he worked alongside a man named James Robertson. And James Robertson also was a very curious man about the same attachment, and he basically came up with the idea that children experience intense distress when separated from their mothers. And the two of them together ended up doing a study called the Harlow's Monkey Study, where they studied the monkey's bond with the mother. And these two men weren't the only one during this time that were fascinated by this idea of attachment between the child and the mother, but another researcher, Mary Ainsworth, in the 1970s also did a study called the Strange Situation Experiment, which I will give a link to down below. And it's a really cool experiment. The mother and the child are in a room essentially, and there's scientists observing how the child reacts to the mother leaving the room when a stranger enters the room, and just really dives into the both emotional, social, and psychological effects it has on the child. I believe it's a little girl. To put it short, the attachment is the bond that typically forms between the infant and the caregiver, by which the helpless infant gets primary needs met from. So typically this is the mother. But the theory of attachment can be applied to adult relationships, friendships, platonic relationships, and romantic relationships. So this bond and this attachment that we're talking about doesn't just happen when the child is younger. This attachment kind of carries out when the child is full grown. That leads us to talk about 4 different attachment styles. These are the main styles. I'm not for sure if there's any other ones outside of these, but these were the main ones that I found. And that is 1, secure. The second is anxious preoccupied. The third is the dismissive avoidant, which I will be talking about in today's video. And then the 4th is the fearful avoidant attachment style. I just want to keep it short, but I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on the characteristics of the dismissive avoidant, which is basically the attachment of a person, and typically these people possess a very positive view of themselves and a very negative view of other people. So dismissive avoidant are typically emotionally unavailable. They actively disengage from real intimacy. They often present with a charming wall of seduction, and they are typically able to convey interest to start a relationship, but they get kind of lost and confused on how to carry that relationship out. And they really do not go deeper with their emotions and their relational connection with people that they encounter. And again, this doesn't have to be with just romantic partners. This could be essentially with anyone, friendships, siblings. This attachment style really does carry out into all different areas. So typically, a child or an adult who has a dismissive avoidant attachment style from an early age, this individual typically experienced too little interaction and had to learn to be self-sufficient at a very young age, which there could be a variety of factors that influence that. Typically, the relationships are non-essential to these children as they grow older. Their personal goals are prioritized above relationships. They have relatively low levels of relational maintenance, disclosure, and emotional expression. So these people aren't going to be telling a lot about themselves. They typically withdraw a lot of contact, physical contact with other people. In my personal experience, the two, I guess, characteristics or that I had personally noticed was the sense of independence and avoiding closeness were two huge things to kind of look out for people who carry a dismissive avoidant attachment style. And essentially, they develop and reinforce this effect. So they learn to get along on their own. They kind of reinforce this idea that they don't need other people to be happy because they are so independent, which was something that was ingrained in them at a very young age. And they tend to dismiss the needs of a relationship and tends to focus on the flaws of someone else to maintain that emotional distance between them and someone that they could potentially form an attachment to. So those are kind of the main things, main takeaways and characteristics that I have researched for the dismissive avoidant. I don't want to make this video too long, but I just wanted to share some of my personal experiences with it and the things that I've seen, things that I've researched. So if any of this stuff sounds familiar to you, or if you have anything more to add to this topic, leave your comments down below. I would be so happy to learn more and learn from you guys. But other than that, I will see you guys next time, and don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye guys.